Yeah, so I think I have a certain Power BI here, but this is something that um, let me do something here and then show you on the other side. So transform data. Yeah. So for example, if you're able to see, just thumbs up that you're able to see. Okay. Casey, kindly unmute your microphone. Thank you. Yeah. So if you look at something like this is Power BI, but this is now Power Query inside Power BI. There's a Power Query editor in Power BI. Maybe there are a couple of things that I did here which can also be undone. Change the data type, promoted headers. Martin Chepsos, are you able to see my screen? Anybody who is not able to see the screen? I believe it should be only you, Martin, because the others had thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah. So suppose maybe, let me go back to this, and then you can see maybe data that we have here. I mean, there are things that we did like changing data type. So for example, you can see here now inside Power BI, you can see outlet ID. It's of data type 123. So, I mean, 123 means that it is numbers, right? It's a whole number which now should be there, whole number. But if you have something like ABC, of course, ABC means that something is just a text kind of data, right? Yeah. So if you see maybe 123, and then if you check on maybe something like date, I don't know if I have a date field here. Yeah. Yeah, these ones needs to be also changed. So yeah, you're seeing Eric, your hand is up. So date. So if you see this one is now date data type. Now there is the Power Query editor inside Power BI. You can go ahead and maybe change any other data type that may need to be changed. So for example, outlet, right? Just text so that it becomes ABC. So if you see ABC, it means that it is text data type, right? Uh, Maybe this one is it logical? A true or false? Sorry, that becomes no. This data is not available with you. I'm just showing you extra things that can be done because I want us to look at that other data that I gave you yesterday. So don't really mind, but just look at what can be done with the Power Query editor, even around things like changing the data type. That is something that we did yesterday, right? There are other things like removing columns, which we are also able to do yesterday, right? Uh, I don't know why this thing is playing with me around. Yeah, but what I mean is that there are other things that you can do with the Power BI. There's an issue, and that is why there are no changes even here. Let me undo. Okay, yeah. So things like this, you can even right click and then remove a column. So for example, yesterday I was showing you how to remove columns, unwanted columns. There was a time you were saying that there can be relevant data. You may have collected information like GPS location of somebody. You've collected maybe the start and finish time that they were filling in the data, right? So those data maybe are irrelevant to you. So you can right click and then click on remove. So if you click on remove other columns, then it means that you are going to keep this one column. So maybe I wanted to keep two columns. I wanted to keep that one and keep this. So if I come here and right click and say remove other columns, then I'll be remaining with the 3. But for me to undo this step, I can just go to remove where I applied the steps and then click X so that it goes away. Yeah, any other thing that you may want to do? There's even keep rows, there's even remove rows, right? Yeah, split column, that is something that we looked at yesterday, right? And even within the Power Query, you can enter more data, you can replace values, you can group. There are things that you can also just have a look at. If you right click any column, there are errors you can remove duplicates. These things we had done them in Excel, but now I'm just showing you inside Power Query Editor so that you understand so that you understand more things that you can be able to do with you can transform and maybe change. So what value do we have here? Okay, so this is a numerical value. That is why when you come to transform, we round, absolute, round up, round down, square root, text transforms. But if I add a text data like this one, transform will be, I can transform it to lowercase, uppercase, or capitalize. So it is able to identify that this one is a text data, this one is a number. So I can do a transformation here. With numbers, I can round. I can maybe change them to base 10 algorithm. If you change it to base 10 algorithm, you are seeing what is happening there. So calculated base 10. I mean, that was just an example that you're trying to do. Here, transformation might be text transform, lower, upper, length. And we were also able to change texts in Excel from uppercase to lowercase to proper case to sentence case, right? And those are similar things that you can do here. But now here it is really fast because it's just a click of the button, right? You just click your mouse and everything goes away. In Excel, for us to remove duplicates, of course, we could also go to the various tabs inside Excel and click remove duplicates, which you can also do here. For transformation in Excel, we have to write maybe a code. We have to write a code, right, for us to change it from various forms of sentence cases to the desired case that you have. Yeah, so that is it. There is something around unpivoting columns and it's pivoting and unpivoting. Yeah, I'll share with you a video that talks about pivoting or unpivoting a column so that we don't take maybe much time on that. Yeah, so that is Power Query Editor now inside Power BI, and I hope you are able to see these things. What I mean, I'm seeing a question here by Alan. So, do you mean we can use Power Query instead of Excel? Power Query Editor is available in Excel, and Power Query Editor is also available in Power BI. So, what I am using here is Power BI, right? But what we were doing yesterday, so this is Power Query inside Power BI. So if you want to pull your data into Power BI, then do editing there, or maybe cleaning there. That is also fine with you because you'll maybe close and apply and things like that. When you save that data, it's going to be it's going to be stored maybe in your laptop somewhere. But it's preferable that you go through Excel because sometimes Power BI might will save your data inside the tool but not outside. For example, this sheet one that we are having here, it might be saved this inside this Power BI but not outside. I believe so. So that is one of the downsides. So what you are saying is you can go through Excel. You can go inside Excel. So for example, this data cleaning that you were working with yesterday, you go to, right? So you go to your data and then maybe new query. So if you go to new query, you can look at, you can upload data from maybe a workbook from CSV. So what does it mean CSV, .csv? So Excel saves data in various forms. There is .csv, there is .xls, right? Yeah. So comma delimited, text delimited is also there, right? So there are various forms of Excel data, how Excel saves data. So if you want it from a workbook, you'll click here. So maybe I click workbook and see if I have any workbook stored somewhere, and see any data that I have. Maybe let me say, I don't know how this data is looking like, but let's just click for us to see what is there. So please wait. Yeah, you can see. So here, no item selected because we have not selected the sheet number 1. Yeah, so I believe this one's something that I was just doing. I don't know what it is, but suppose this is our data, or we can just remove it and get new data from file, maybe from workbook, and maybe sample data, import. That is also a way of importing data into Excel, into Power Query Editor. So maybe you want just sales orders. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, there's this one. There's this one that we are having. So there is here edit. If you check down here, I hope you're able to see it. Alice Kalunde, you're saying a link to install Power BI. I'll share with you a link. But don't care about Power BI for now. Well, let's care about Excel. Yeah, if you check down here, you're able to see there is load, there is edit. So if you want to edit data, that is more or less transform. If you go to Power BI, it will tell you transform. But if you feel like your data is clean, you can load it, right? Otherwise, if it is not clean, you can edit. So this is now the query editor, right? So there are things that it has already done for us right now. So if there's any issue with our data, we can check. We can transform the data, maybe pivot or unpivot columns, right? We can change the formats, right? So if we are here maybe on region, you can do the same things that I was showing you in Power BI. You can split. Maybe with what can we split here? There's nothing that you can split in this case. Let me see. You can even merge these two columns. That is why I was highlighting. So let me see, there's rep, representative, and the region that they are representing. So Jones is actually representing Jones is representing the East. Jones, I'm seeing East. Oh, okay. So we have so many people in the East. But yeah, so suppose you want to even merge these two columns, 1 and 1, right? So merge in Excel is similar. So this merge you are talking about is similar to concat, right? We talked about concatenate in Excel, right? So if you want to merge the columns, we can merge using concat in Excel. Here we can come and maybe say select those two and then merge columns, right? So let's see what is. So it is asking us, what do we want to be the separator between these two columns? So suppose you want to say the separator is so Jones and pencil should be separated by what? Is it a comma? Is it a semicolon, equal sign, space, right? or you can even say custom. So custom, maybe now you can define your, maybe a hyphen. You wanted a hyphen, right? So a hyphen. Sorry, that is a, yeah, a hyphen. So if you want a hyphen, then you can just maybe click and then new column name. What is the name of what is the new column name? So maybe you want to say rep region. Rep region. Yeah. Rep region. So what has happened here? So we have region has been maintained, and then rep region. So the names have been reversed. Let's remove this one so that it becomes. So I have reordered them. Initially, you can see here reorder the columns. So initially the representative was this side, then the region was this side. I mean, these are things you can also do with your Power Query editor. So you drag this so that it comes before region. So here now we can merge them, because when we merged them the other time, it wasn't merging the way we want it to merge. So you can highlight those two columns and then right click and say merge columns. And then now you can say what is the separator. If you say none, uh, I mean, in that case, there will be no space between the two. Itakuwa John's East. John's East as one word, right? So a separator, maybe in this, if you say space, then it is John's space East. Semicolon different. Tab more or less similar to space, but tab is a larger space as compared to space. Yeah. So maybe custom, we want it to just have a custom means that you are defining your own separator, right? So if you want maybe the separator to be an equal sign, of course there was equal sign up there, but now maybe you can say just a hyphen, and then what is the new name, or what is the name of that merged column, so that it becomes rep region. It becomes rep region. And then maybe if you click OK, you can now see John's East, right? John's East, Jill Central, Sovino West, John's East, yeah. So you can actually see John's is representing maybe which region, the east region, or maybe the eastern region. Yeah, so people are asking about this data. I just picked it. I don't know where it is even within my laptop, but I'll drop it after the class for you to just be able to see what you've done here. Yeah, so this is Power Query editor basically, and the things you can edit. There are so many other things that you can look into, including even the group buys, and so these ones are more or less the most important things. If you talk about replace values, that one you can do for cleaning missing values. If you talk about something like duplicates, you can either duplicate a column or you can remove duplicates. So these remove duplicates can be mostly maybe in terms of the rows, right? You can change data type, you can transform. These things are what we did in Excel the other day, right? Yeah. So I think that is Power Query Editor. Today we wanted to talk about pivot tables and pivot charts. Anybody having a question with Power Query Editor? I know the question you're asking is this data. This data, I'll send it to you. Any question? You're saying iko kwa chat box. You're saying that there's a question in the. Can the same formulas in Excel be used in Power Query, or it's just cleaning? Yeah, in Power Query, so can the same formulas in Excel be used in be used in Power Query, or it's just cleaning? Most of these things that you're doing here, you can write syntaxes you can write syntaxes in what? In Power Query. Yeah, you can write syntaxes in Power Query. Um, I can clearly show you that with maybe Power BI. Let me show you what maybe you can do. Discard changes here. Okay, sorry. Let me cancel and apply these changes. So can the same formulas in Excel? I may even show you maybe a formula like for cleaning, not really for cleaning, but for adding maybe a column or adding a new measure in Excel or in Power Query. Let me just see if I have that here. Yeah. So if you look at something like this, yeah. So here maybe I was looking at the distinct. Oh, I've messed with the data. Yeah. So here I was looking at the distinct outlet IDs. So this is the data that has outlet IDs for various supermarkets, right? So every supermarket has, you can see maybe here 11th Hour Supermarket, Jam Supermarket, right? And Minimarts. So all of them, so this is like you are retailing to people, you are distributing to various shops, right? So every shop, every supermarket, or every Minimart is noted by the outlet ID. So that outlet ID is very unique to every one of them. So you can maybe even see like a formula like maybe count rows, then summarize and maybe now count the unique outlet IDs, and maybe something like let me see salesperson. So no, that is a similar thing. Uh, these are measures that that I created. So yeah, that's why I wanted to show you maybe formulas. There are things like even some formulas that you can use in Power BI that you also use in Excel, right? So they are not really different. Power BI and Excel, they are not really very different from each other. So formulas that you have in Excel can be used can be used in Power BI. But then the difference will just be some simple tweaking of the formula, right? Because for formulas in Power BI, we use something called data analysis expression. That is called a DAX language. So DAX language is what is used as uh, for the formulas in Power BI. Yeah. So Martin is asking, what is Power BI? So Power BI is another statistical tool, but Power BI is basically used for dashboard visualization, right? All the analysis that you're doing in Excel can also be done. I mean, there is Excel, there is SQL, there is Python, there is R, there is SPSS. There are so many tools when it comes to maybe data analysis. So what I have done in Excel can also be done in Power BI. So according to maybe your question, what is Power BI? Power BI is just another statistical tool that is used for dashboard visualization, right? Let me show you what a dashboard what it means to visualize a dashboard. Uh, Let me see. Lapdog, so that you see what is visualization. Um, yeah, it's opening. So that is we have drifted a little bit from what we are doing, but wanted just to show you that analysis that we are going to even do in Excel can also be done in Power BI. So it's still loading. Yeah, so we can finish up with what you are doing. So once you are done with all the steps that you wanted to do in Power Query, you've changed everything that you wanted to change. Sometimes the data cleaning is really not huge, right? So in maybe 10, 20 minutes, you're done. Then load whatever it is that you have. Yeah. So you can see maybe I have it as a new sheet here. So this data we cleaned it in Power Query. Now we have it inside Power BI, right? So we can go ahead and even uh, split this column, right? So that it becomes rep and region on its own. Initially we had it that way, right? So we can just create maybe, so insert column and call it maybe, okay. So here we have is equaling to, so how are we supposed to be, so we can say, we are supposed to split this one. How do we split rep region? Because they don't have maybe a, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't have maybe a clear that we want to split the first three, or we want to split the last something, right? Because you can use that right function that we were talking about. Yeah. So you can either get it back to even Power BI or Power Query editor again, so that it removes for you maybe that extra column that you are the extra column that you wanted to create. Um, yeah, I think that's gonna take time. But if we wanted to, then we could get it back so that we split we split that column. And another thing is, mhm, yeah, so maybe here now you can start doing your analysis, right? Now you have the table here, you can now start building charts, and that is maybe one of the things that you want to see how to build. So now we've cleaned this data, and we want to insert maybe something like a power pivot chart or pivot table for us to do analysis here. So maybe you just highlight where your data is, and after that go to insert. So if you see here, there's a pivot table, there's recommended pivot tables. So what is a pivot table? So that is a question to us. What is a pivot table? Yeah, okay. Now let us use that data that I sent, because this one might confuse you. Not really confuse you, but you are not going to be able to follow through. But before that, what is a pivot table? Let me get response from Vintain. So as Vintain is responding, load the data that I gave out. I don't know if it is data cleaning. Okay, it is this one. So load the data that I gave out. This one. It's a simple one. What is a pivot? What is a pivot table? Yeah, it is according to you. Uh-huh. Let's see according to Alvin. Alvin Kinoti. Alvin Kinoti, if you're speaking, you're on mute. So Alvin is not. How about according to Sharon Nyamoya? Nyamoya, you're also on mute if you're speaking. Extract values which are more extensive. So I think that is what also Alvin is saying that. So Alvin is saying that it is used to analyze complex data. Yeah, but it's a quick way. Again, it's a combination of everything that you people say. But it's a quick way to just maybe drill through the data that you have. And so maybe, for example, in this case, I hope all of you have loaded, because I'm going to tell you to give me to analyze this data while we are in class here. Somebody will be, I'm going to be giving maybe everybody a chance to analyze one or two things with this data. So you're going to be presenting and sharing what you have. I have just a few questions that I'm seeing that I can ask you around this one. So load that data and be prepared to work with it, right? Yeah. So we have this. We have maybe this one as our table. It's really not huge as maybe you've said, but it's just some 36 amounts of data. So Ross is saying pivot table is a data processing tool used in spreadsheet programs. Allows you to summarize and analyze data from a table by rearranging and aggregating. Yeah, all that. Yeah. So we want to create a pivot table around this one. So if you highlight the data that you have, we have this. We can maybe go to insert. So insert, you can go to pivot, or you can go to recommended pivot tables, but go to pivot. So it will first ask you, select a table or range. Okay, let's cancel. And maybe because first I started by selecting, and then now insert, and then it is telling me, it is able to identify that this is the range that we want to use for our pivot table. So maybe cancel, but go to insert. So we are here at home, right? Go to insert and then maybe click pivot, and then now here it is blank, asking us to asking us to asking us to identify the table range. So this, I think I told you yesterday how to identify a table range, and then you can go there and then click enter. Enter, or just click this red one, right? Enter. So it has identified. Then it is asking us also, choose where you want the pivot table to be located, right? So you can select where you want it to be located. So do you want the pivot table to be located from here, right? If you don't want there, you can just click that one again and maybe select this one, or select this, or even select this, right? This one makes any place that you want your pivot table to start, then click on enter. Yeah. So if you want it to be in a new worksheet, that is also possible. So right now we have said maybe in the existing worksheet, and click on OK. So you can see there. So suppose you wanted it to be in a new worksheet, right? So just go to home, not really home, but insert. So right now we can't insert a, sorry, I was clicking a pivot table, right? Yeah, so we are here. You can maybe click on pivot table, and then it has highlighted the table that we have. And then now we can choose a new worksheet and click on OK. New worksheet, you can see here, there is a sheet number 3 that has been created, right? So quick way of how to do I mean, it depends on where you want it. Do you want your pivot table to be in the existing worksheet? Existing worksheet means that you are in the same worksheet that is containing your data, right? New worksheet means that you are creating a new worksheet. Anybody having a problem with whatever it is that we are saying? Somebody's, let me see. Alvas is clapping, meaning is okay. Let me see. Anybody else? Okay, anybody with an issue? How to enclose the table? Martin, you're saying how to enclose the table. So do you mean enclose by, okay, let me try to go on to pivot. So how to enclose is this way, like are you seeing this dotted line movement? Is that what you're talking about, Martin? Or you can unmute your microphone. Martin, unmute. Yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, let me. So using this one, using this, cancel. Let me cancel this, and maybe let me copy this data into something else. So let me copy this and create a new worksheet, and let's see what you're saying. So suppose we want to insert. So this is what you're saying. Maybe this. Is this what you want to know, Martin? And then click on enter. Yes? I first clicked, then it was blank here. Here was blank, right? This one was blank. So you click this button here, the red one. You click, so here it was blank initially. Then you click on this red, so for you to identify. So you can come and highlight up to here. You can come and highlight up to number 136 because that is where our data is ending. And then click on enter, right? So if I want my pivot table to be in an existing worksheet means that this worksheet number 4 where I am in, right? Where do I want the pivot table to start? So I can click here and maybe say I want it to start right here. I want it to start from here or here, right? And then click on enter. And then okay. So when you click on OK, your pivot table has been created. Are we together, Martin? Okay. Yeah. So delete this. Oh, Vintain Potishoi. I'm seeing your hand going down. Mhm. Here, where you first highlight. So I have highlighted, right? Sorry, where is it going down? Okay, let me highlight from here up to this one. Yeah, so here we are, 37 rows and 7 columns. So I've highlighted and then go to insert and then pivot table. you can see that it has highlighted for us just this, wherever it highlighted for it. So I want it to be in a new worksheet, or I want it to be in an existing worksheet. Sorry? Yeah. After you? This one. Yeah, so if it is blank this way, click on this red. Are you seeing this arrow? So that is what you are supposed to be clicking. So click that, and then it will, at this moment, it will allow you to click where you want to highlight. When I'm highlighting, you can see changes up there where it is written create pivot table, right? Are you seeing changes? The more I increase, the more, yeah, so that is what you do, up to where you want it to be there. So when you have done highlighting, then go and click this again, right? So you click that, and then where you want your pivot table to be placed. Is it a new worksheet, or you want it to be in an existing worksheet? That is now as according to you. Yeah. So you may want it to be even maybe in an existing worksheet. So if you click on existing worksheet, then you will have to identify the worksheet. You can type that worksheet, but it is easier to highlight with this, and then just click the place you want it to start. You want it to start maybe there, or I just let me cancel. So if you want it to be there, then you click on that, and then you can click on OK. But I'll cancel because I have this one already. So if you click outside the pivot table, if you click inside, there are pop-ups here. We'll talk about that. If you click outside, you cannot see it, right? So let's go to worksheet 2, worksheet 3. Yes, Casey. Yeah, so probably there's something that you've done that is an error. Maybe we see what you've done. You can present for. Oh, okay, okay. So how are we going to help you? So data source isn't valid. Mhm. So what could be the problem? So maybe I don't know whether it can be a problem of the table that you've highlighted, or maybe the range that you've highlighted. Maybe you check on the range, because the range basically now means it's the source of that data. If that is maybe the issue, I don't know if any other issue that can be there apart from the range, Casey. But it could have been easier if you could be able to see it. That will solve easily. Okay. Aiga, we want to go to this section. So that the questions you have, for the questions you have 3 minutes. I mean everyone. Aiga. Uh-huh. Here, this one. You are here. That is what you are going to next. That is what you are going to. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Bethwell. Mhm. So, for example, let me see. So, if you highlight this and go to this one, go to insert. uh So, what is yours saying? Yeah. How about you click it? Maybe you share so that we are able to see. Yeah. Now that is the issue. Now we are not able to see what you're doing because you're using your phone to join, or maybe you can take a screenshot and send, or maybe just take a picture of whatever it's is there and send to the group. Okay. Okay. So here we are. So for the first time we did by creating that pivot in the existing worksheet. This time around we created this in a new worksheet. They are just the same thing, right? This data, this table that we have here is tied to this data that we are having here. So don't worry. So number one, now you want to create things, to see things here and there, right? So we have order ID. So let's first maybe understand our data. Our data, we have order ID, and these order IDs are distinct. Distinct order IDs means that is it really distinct for every product? Yeah, I'm seeing every product, they are very different. So probably order ID means maybe there's a certain company that is, if you see order 101, maybe repeating itself, it maybe belongs to a certain company that is doing the ordering, or maybe a certain person is assigned that order 101, right? So if it's maybe somebody like a person by the name Linda doing ordering of a product, then maybe Linda orders laptop and orders coffee. The order ID maybe is 101. So for the laptop that she ordered is 101. For coffee maker that she ordered is 101 again. So that you know that all the orders with the same order ID belongs to the same person. Basically, that is how it works with the orders, right? With the order IDs. So if you know that maybe somebody can just order multiple products, but you want to keep all those order IDs the same. Products will be having different product ID. Maybe that is not included here, but you'll find that laptop is having a different product ID. Coffee maker is having a different product ID, right? So if somebody is ordering things once, different products, maybe we can give them the same order ID. So you ordered laptop, ordered coffee maker, sofa, blender, all those products have different product ID, but then because they were ordered by the same person, we will give them order ID number one, maybe order ID 1012, right? So that is part of understanding your data. Product, of course, products that are sold. Category, laptop falls into electronics, smartphone, categories of different products that we have been ordered here. And then you can see maybe sales representative. is John, Jane, Smith, whatever. So these are representatives. And which region are they representing? John Doe maybe representing the north. Sales amount is 1,500, right? Dollars as at first. Yeah. So those are different different understanding of this simple inventory. Is it an inventory or sales data, right? So what would you really want to see? Of course, if you put order ID, because order IDs are they are not repeating, we don't need to sum order IDs. So you can even say count of order ID. Okay. So of course, if you see order IDs, they are just 1111111. But what we've done is, let me go back to, let me return those things up there. Number one, suppose you want to see something like the products, or maybe let me say categories of product. So maybe you have product and then category. Let me see category. You can pull it to, there's the rows, there's values, there's columns, there's filters. You can apply filters in whatever it is that we are building here, right? So this is just a quick way of drilling through your data. Let's get that back. Maybe you have product like this. What is the sales amount? Sum of sales amount of every product. So a product like maybe air conditioner, you can see that it sold for us 1,200. Air fryer did 250 up to the last one, which is a watch that sold 1,150. Sorry. So you also have to remember that these things are in dollars. So I want to see that my there's a problem with, okay, not responding. Let's give it 1 minute to respond. Yeah, but what I mean is, how you can now see, maybe compare the products versus the total sales that they are bringing in. So suppose maybe air conditioner was ordered by so many clients, maybe ordered by 20 clients or ordered by 30 people. So you'll find the total sales amount maybe is different from what we have here, 1,200, right? Maybe something like a backpack was ordered by even 10 people. You'll find maybe it is 30 times even 10, which is 3,000. I mean, this data of ours is simple for us to, for you to see what I'm talking about. Um, so you can even drill it down with region. Let me see region. If you bring region to the rows, so region should actually be upper. Let me see if we can bring it up. Yeah, so that you see region to be up. So what I'm doing is, let me just hide them first and then you see. So I want to see how every region performed. So for example, which one is the highest selling region? From here I can see that the north region is the one that is bringing for us more revenue, followed by south, followed by west, and followed by east. That is, I've used rows here and I've used sales amount here to build something. So what is the total sales amount per region per product, right? So if you click maybe and open this list, yeah, east, sorry, you can see that air fryer was sold in east, blender was sold, desk chair, and things like that. You go to the north, and then all these things they sum up to 1710. You go to the north, what was sold in the north? The north, maybe we sold 5490, and air conditioner is one of those products that were selling high. Air conditioner 1200, laptop 1500, TV 1200, and then followed by the rest. yeah, you can click through and see maybe the east, what is there, the west, what is there in the west, and you can see all that. And then the grand total for all of them is 14,150. Suppose you don't want to see this sum of cells. If you right click, sorry, not right click. If you click this to, is it an arrow or a, yeah, that's something. Then you click on value field settings. Value field settings. Maybe it is not sum that you wanted, but it is count. But of course, count won't really be relevant for us here. But maybe you count sales amount. You can just change it that way. You can see that it is not really relevant for us. It's not making any sense. But if you want to change the field settings from maybe um, count, you want to change it to even average, because this average that we are also talking about, this is something that you can calculate using the formulas that we created or we can create in Excel, right? So you can click also average and see that the average sales in East, comparing it with these products, it is 190, right? 190. I don't know why it is 190. Yeah, so 80 and 80 and 120 are pulling it below. Yeah. When you go to the north, average sales per product is 100 is 610. That is the average sales in the north. We are always selling per product around, and then we had 9 products per region. So we are selling 610. For south, 467. For west, 304. And then so the average sales per product, you can see there is 393, right? I don't know which one is pulling it down. So 190 is pulling us down. 190, because we're talking about average sale of 393. So those are things maybe you can pull within the pivot table. So quickly enough, you can, maybe let me remove something here. Let me remove this one. So if I want to remove, for example, I wanted to remove this one for product, so that we just remain with the average. So I can just drag it back. You can see now we have that average. Maybe I'll calculate the sum and then click on OK, right? Click on OK. So suppose I want to maybe insert a chart. Yeah, you can go here to maybe pivot chart. You can see here there is pivot chart. So I can insert pivot chart. Maybe there are some recommended ones here, and click on OK. And then you can see here. You can see what we have here. So I want to tell you a certain difference that you'll see. Let me copy this data here up to grand total, and then control copy and paste it here, but I'll paste it as, yeah, and then use this data that we have to create a similar table here. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Create a similar one, because we want to compare some two things here. So this one, you understand that it is created from this. This one is a pivot chart that has been created from what we have here. So you want to know, you want to see the difference. Sorry. So this one goes here. So let's resize it. Okay. First of all, up to there, who has understood nothing? To put up the hands. Eric, you've raised your hand. Have you understood nothing? Okay. Evita. Evita has understood something, but not enough. Anyway, anybody having a challenge with what I've done? I've hurried a little bit. Raban Muriu. Let me hear your question. Raban, if you're speaking, you're on mute. Evita, let me hear your question. Okay. How late did you join? We had started a pivot table. Okay, then it means you joined perfectly late. Bethwell, okay. So let me first delete these things. Let me delete this one. I mean, I can just even cut it or come and delete this data. Let me also delete this one. So if you refresh, if there's any change within your data here, you can just come and refresh it. But that one we'll talk about later. Let me also remove that. Okay. So what I was saying is, let me also remove this one. I can remove it by clicking this and clicking this other one. Yeah. So first, if you click here, click anywhere within your data, somebody should mute their microphone. Evita. So if you click anywhere here, right, you can click on this anywhere so that this one pops up. So you can now start understanding your data. And what I did is I want to see the total sales that our company is getting from every region. Or I want to understand the total sales amount by product. So I may just bring in product here as part of our rows, and then you can see the products that we are having, right? So this one might need to be, let me delete this one. Up to there, are we okay? Yes? Up to that point, Bethel is saying we are fine. Yeah, so the first thing is I've gone to the rows and picked product. So maybe I've picked product. What is it that I want to understand from product, right? Because with product this way, of course, you can clearly see that, okay, so we have soundbar in our as part of our product. We also have sunglasses, okay, smartphone. Apart from that, what else can we know about product? The other thing that you can know about product is what is the total amount or total sales amount that every product is bringing, right? That is where now we go to under our values, we bring in sales amount, right? So sales amount, you can see that it is highlighted as sum of sales amount. If you don't want sum of sales, uh, sum of sales, you can just go to this corner here, right? And then click on it, and then there's value field settings. I mean, you can even move to report filter, move to row labels, move to column labels, or even remove that field, right? But you don't want to really, you can click here to remove the field. You can also drag it outside. Just click and drag it out. Yeah. You can click and maybe place it just there. It won't be deleted. So from product, we want to see the sum of sales amount, the total sales that every product is bringing in. So you just click here under value field settings, click this, and you don't want to see the sum. You maybe want to see the count, or you want to see the average, right? So click on average if you want to see average. Come and click on OK. So here the average is remaining the same because air conditioner was just one product. So it is 1200, which was the total sales amount divided by 1. So that is why you cannot see the difference here. So that difference we can perfectly see when we bring in region, right? Right now you can see that the region of East, which has 9 products, is bringing in 190 on average. So 190 times 9, that will be around 900, 9 times 90, 810, I believe 1710, right? 1710. Similar to North, you may also calculate that. Yeah, so that average will really make sense that way as compared to if we have the product. So with product, so you can use this one to drag here at the corner, this one. So you can just bring in the product, but now we change average sales, but go to sum and click on OK. Yeah, so it is sum of sales per product. Maybe under that sum of sales now, we may want it to be in terms of region. So we want to see the sum of sales per region. So which region is performing better than the other, right? So with this information that we have, we can build what is called a pivot chart, right? Data in table can really get boring, that you are not able to see beyond what is in the table. When it is in charts and things like that, you can easily see the different things that are happening. Somebody is saying that they cannot see my screen. That is Bethel. Bethel, you may want to check the issue because I believe that my screen is visible. Yeah. So with whatever it is that we have here, we can create a pivot chart. So if you go to pivot chart, so it is asking you choose the data you want to analyze. So I can just go there and click, maybe I want this one to be analyzed. I don't need to have the grand total. I may just need this one only, right? Existing worksheet. What have I done with the sales amount? So, okay. It is telling us to for the axis category and then maybe for the sum of sales. You may have it that way. Yeah. But that one can confuse you. Let me just Control Z and Control Z again. And one more time. Let's delete this one. So that, let me delete this information. I know it is going to confuse you with that. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, so let's use this. So highlight this one and go to pivot charts. Insert and then go to pivot chart, and then you can see recommendations that are there. If you want a line chart, you'll be able to get it there. If you want a pie chart, you'll be able to get it there. Bar, you'll be able to see it there. Similar area, there are different kinds of plots that we can have in Excel. So insert, go to pivot chart, and then create it using this one. I mean, that one has been recommended. You can click on OK, and then you have the information here. Okay, how many people are able to do that? So for you to create that chart, you just highlight this. So I'm seeing a couple of hands up. Okay. So you can, for some of us, you can beat your chest and say, I've created my first chart in Excel. Right? Yeah, yeah, Bevelin Achieng, yeah. Bevelin, that is. So this is information that you can now either transfer it somewhere else, or even so I don't want these things. There's something that you created but you don't want it. Hmm. Yeah, this one I did it when we first went to pivot chart, and then we highlighted the table that you want to use to create that pivot chart. But either way, what we could have done, which you did with this one that we are having here, is just to highlight that data and go to insert, and then now pivot chart, and then it creates this one. But there's a difference that I wanted you to know, to understand. And I wanted to do it this way by copying this one, control copy. You'll see it in action, and then control V. No, not control V. Paste it as values. So I have it there. I'll drag this one down so that it appears where the side where we want to do the comparison. So I want to use these ones to create another. This is just maybe a normal data that we have gotten now. I want to use it to create just a chart. Go there and maybe recommended charts, and click on this one. You can click on this, the other one that you want, and click on OK. Right. So with this one, uh, you'll see a difference. So anybody that can see any difference with the two? These are just normal charts. These ones are pivot charts. This one is called a pivot chart. This one that we have here. This is a pivot chart, right? And then there's this. So we have two things, but then they're speaking about the same data, or maybe the same information that they're presenting. Uh, so any difference that you can notice with the two? Somebody to put up their hand and tell us. So which one is that one? So if you see this one, which is a pivot chart, and click on this region, you may not need to see all those regions, right? You may need to just see, for example, I want to see north only, or I want to compare north and south. Yeah. Now you can see only north and south is there. Go back to maybe a filter, and then I don't want to see north this time around. I want to see only east and west. Yeah, you can see east and west information here. Yep. But for this one, you cannot change. You cannot do those filtering and whatever. Yeah, it's static mostly. This one is more or less live. This pivot chart. Right now, if there is any update within our data, if something happens within our data, right, and I come here and do a refresh, it will update. Let me try it so that you see. We need a new design. Okay. There's too much that this thing is bringing here. So let's go to this place. You can see that plus button. Charts elements, axis title, chart wherever. So there is axis title. If you want an axis title down there, so on the Y and X, you can get you can write the axis. If you want maybe a chart title, or maybe you don't want that chart title. Somebody's microphone is on. Kindly mute if your microphone is on, right? And I believe it should be. So I think that person is muted. But if you look at now the chart, you can do some chart element edits, right? If you want maybe a chart title, of course you can see it there. If you want data labels, and this is what I wanted, so that we try and change information within our data and see if it is going to change here. So data labels, if you want data labels, you can click on that, but then there is some arrow there, not really an arrow, but information needed in the bedroom. So where do you want your data labels to be? Do you want them to be at the center, inside base, outside end, data callout, right? So which one do you want to see? Do you want it at the center, inside end, inside base, outside end? So maybe outside end makes sense for you. You may click that one, outside end. Do you want to see the data table? So data table is here. So that is more information about. So if you want the data table, but of course, all these things are going to make your chart to be really busy, and that is something that you may not want. Error bars, you can see the result there. Do you want to see the grid lines? Maybe you don't want to see the grid lines. For me, I always prefer working without grid lines, right? Do you want to see the legend? The legend is this one. So you can see now that we don't have maybe something like a legend. Yeah, so here again, which position do you want the legend to be? Do you want it to be at the right, top? If you click on top, you can see there below the total. Do you want it on the left, on the bottom? More options that you may look into. Okay, maybe you don't want to see the legend. Do you want to see a trend line? So is there any particular trend line that we are seeing here? The trend line again doesn't make much sense in this case, right? Because I'm seeing it increasing in some sort of a manner, coming from the east going to the west. Yeah, of course, from east towards west, it is increasing. Yeah, so maybe something like that. But trend line maybe doesn't really, uh, we don't really need it inside this data. So those are some of the edits that you can do in that. Similar to even this one. You just click on it, and then there's this plus button. Yeah, there also may be chart filters. Edit what data points you want to see. You can also right click and maybe do the north. You don't want to see the north, and then apply. And then maybe go back and say I want to see the north again. Right? Series, select all. You don't want the series to maybe remain that way. So there's a data that we removed. Okay, north is back, and then you apply. Right, it's easier done on this side where you just click on this and then north, south, blah blah, and then you have okay, right? So you can see all those things that you can do there. You may want to change the colors of this one, right? You can go to the design. You may want to see it this way. Maybe there's something that you've not added. Maybe we add data labels. Yeah. So you want to see it this way, you want to see it this way, this one, right? You can go down here and see more options depending on what you want to see. So maybe this one makes sense for you, right? Yeah. Something else. So that is, you can save that. So what you wanted to just compare is the difference between a pivot chart and these other normal charts that we can build in Power BI. This one is not live. This one you can refresh just by right clicking and refreshing data. Let me see, the north we have 5490. Let's change something within the north here. So this is north. So let's change maybe sales amount for this one to be, first let's check what the north is having. The north is having 54.90, and then we change this to maybe something like 1800. And then you come here, let's try and refresh. Yeah, now you can see the north has changed to 64 to 60.90. Ours is still maintained at 54.90. So a pivot chart is easier to use because you can represent live data. All your analysis that you're doing, maybe there are changes within your data, maybe this data is connected to a certain database. You can always refresh it. Right? Anybody with a question? The floor is open for questions. Somebody's saying, Alvin, are you able to see my screen? Oh, yes. Okay. Any question? Okay. Now I have a question. Now let me give you a question just to work with this data, with this small data that we have here. So what happened to our pivot? Did we clear it? I think there's somewhere I clicked X and then the pivot went away. How do we retrieve? I messed with our pivot. What is happening? It is not showing the pivot. Now let me give you that question as I look into it. Let me try to look at the data that we had here. I don't know why our table is not showing here, pivot table. There should be something that we've done. Okay, let me try creating a new one and see if it is going to come back. Okay. Yeah, okay, sawa. Okay. So we've maybe checked on that, but I want to give you a question that uh-huh. um, what can you do with this? The only problem is it's a small one. Mhm. Yeah, can you just maybe create a pivot chart to show, or maybe to compare sales amount or maybe sales trend by representative? Yeah, you can do that. Sales representative and how much are they raking, right? How much are they bringing in? Maybe that is a simple question for you to do. So do that. So visualize maybe trends. So you don't have to maybe create a bar chart, or maybe you don't need to create. You can create something else, a pie chart. There are so many charts that you can develop in Power BI, in Excel. in 1 minute, I'm going to pick somebody to show us what they have done. That you compare sales amount that every representative is bringing in, the total amount of sales that representatives are bringing. Are you done? Let me call on oh let's see, Casey. Casey, can you tell us how you've done that? The question. Casey? I mean, this is just a simple thing. Creating, yeah. Yes, Bethel. To throw in a video. Yeah, I'm seeing what you've done there. Yeah, even pie chart is okay. Aiga, you want to present? Uh, okay. Job, how have you managed that? This is the simple thing. Job, have you done it? Job is on mute. Yeah, don't always fear to to speak in the class, right? Sorry. Don't always be afraid to speak or say something that you've done. So basically, what you can do is just similar to this. You just build in maybe a new. You just remove region and bring in sales representative, right? This is it. Emily Brown, you can see there 2740. Jane Smith 4210. John Doe 6090, and Mike Johnson 1710. Yeah. So what I also created here was a slicer. So suppose maybe you've created so many charts here. Let me see, there's a certain chart we have. So you can see that when I changed the regions, or maybe I changed the field settings, or maybe the fields, I changed it from region, and now we are having sales rep, sales representative. You can see that it has changed. This one has not changed. Right here, you can see it has changed. Yeah, that is a good difference for you to also note. So sometimes you may be asking, where are these things going to be used? Sometimes you are writing a report in maybe something like Word. So you just copy this information that you have here. Let me click it and see. So something is happening with our Excel and it is gone. Mhm. Let me see if it gets back to what we were doing. And yeah, okay. So sometimes you are writing maybe your report in somewhere like Word. Somebody's microphone is okay. Are you able to see the screen? No, okay. So I've resumed representing because I think Aiga disconnected me from presenting. That is now I believe you're able to see it, right? Yes? Okay, okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is, suppose you are analyzing this data. I don't know where you are going to maybe take the reports or somewhere. Maybe you'll be writing the reports just within this place. So you are taking it to Word. Willie, can you mute your microphone? Yeah. So maybe you are taking it to Word, or maybe you are just writing that report inside here. Yeah. So if you are writing a report here, maybe you can insert a text box. Maybe your text box is there. And then describing this and say, uh, maybe John Doe. Maybe John Doe had the highest amount of sales as compared to, I mean, okay. So John Doe had the highest amount of sales and of which was maybe 6090 dollars, right? At maybe 1710 at 1710 comma Mike Johnson wrote in the least amount of sales. So maybe this is part of your report, right? You create maybe you create a chart, and then with it there is an explanation maybe next to it, because all this explanation you can't write them inside inside this sum of sales forever, right? So you can resize this text box. Maybe it appears there, and you bring it maybe down here. It now depends where you want it to be, right? That one now is up to you. You may want to fill it or not, or fill the words, yeah, or just leave it that way. So that is now up to you to do, right? Yeah. So that can be an explanation, um, or maybe you are writing something in Word, and maybe this one sales analytics report. You can pick that thing, you can pick whatever it is that you developed from here and copy and go and paste. So similar to this place, if you do a control V, if you do a control V, if you make any change in, I believe, let me see. So if you hover around, you can see total point John Doe. If you make any change in Excel, it is going to be changed here also, right? But if you do this one, if you paste it as a picture, then it is no longer live. This one is no longer live. This one is now going to be just a picture. You can even see if I click sales representative, there's nothing that is happening. But this one is live. Let me show you what happens if you change any information there. So maybe you go to Power Pivot Practice, and first you'll notice that maybe Jen Smith is having 4210. If we change something here, Jen Smith, maybe Jen Smith, we add her 2000 here. Let us see if it is changing. She had 4210, so it has not refreshed. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so if we did edit, we can edit data or maybe edit data in Excel. I believe we can go that route. Or let me try to save and see. So this is 4210. Let me refresh the data on this side. Let me go to this one and right click and refresh data. So she's at 5210. If we go to our Word, yeah, our Word now you can see that it is at 5210, right? So this one is Control V. This one you just right click, and click on this one, picture, right? So here now you can continue and maybe write your blah blah as maybe shown in the table above, comma, blah blah. Then you write your whatever, right? So this is just maybe a brief intro about doing your, that is pivot table in Excel, and also developing a pivot chart. If you looked at these charts, design. Oh, okay, of course we had looked at the design, and maybe if you look at just recommended charts, you can see here there are various charts. There is line plot, which you can just do. You can see how it is going to come out, right? There's a pie chart, which Bethwell did. You can see how it is going to come out. Radar, you can also see there how it is going to come out. Sunburst, whatever. And there are different combinations of something like maybe column chart. You can see here column chart like this, right? If you click it this way, you click that, you'll be able to see there. I mean, there are so many charts that you can develop. You can even develop a scatter plot, right? A scatter plot. A scatter plot where you're looking at two continuous data, right? Yeah, two numerical data, right? Or maybe numerical variables. You're looking at two of them, and then you want to compare maybe height versus weight. Is it that maybe if as the height increases, the weight also increases, right? Also, or maybe you want to look at maybe income versus age, right? You have now maybe the age there printed there. So as the age increases, is there maybe an increase in terms of the income that you are having, that somebody is getting? Or educational level. Is educational level really going to make sense there? Educational level versus maybe income level. Now that one is not going to really make so much sense. It's better when you have, so for that is I'm talking about scatter, better when you have two numerical variables, right? Yeah. What I mean again is there are so many what? There are so many plots that you can do here. There's histogram is there, there's pie chart is there. I mean, there are so many of them that you can do. There are different combinations of bar chart that you can also look at. Yeah. Um oh, one thing. I created a slicer. Let me change this to maybe product category, and then so product category. So I created a slicer here, and you'll really understand why a slicer is important. So let me delete first this slicer, and go back to how to create a slicer. Now this is a slicer here. So use a slicer to filter data visually. Slicer make it easier and faster to filter tables, pivot charts, and cube functions. Now let me click on, what am I seeing? That connection in this workbook, no connection found. Is it because I removed the slicer there? Uh, hmm. Let me see. No tables found. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So it's because I had not clicked the. So first click this one and then go to slicer. And then, so you may choose which slicer do you want to look at. Maybe I want to look at sales representative, the one that I was using, and then click on OK, right? So why is it easy to use a slicer? And I want you to see what is changing every time I click on a slicer. So you can check here that we are having this slicer. So if I click on Emily Brown, you will be able to see, you can see that there is a change that is happening here on this graph, on this table. Is it graph? Or yeah, bar graph. You can see changes are happening there. You can see changes on our table also. So when I click on Emily Brown, I can see information. So has accessories, how much is this Emily selling? Appliances. So I can basically see that Emily Brown is selling more appliances than accessories. So the rate is actually appliances, electronics, furniture, then accessories. Similarly, maybe I go to Jen Smith. I can see that Jen Smith is selling more furniture than any other thing, right? Furniture followed by appliances, electronics. I can also see that Jen Smith is selling 5 products. One, two, three, four, five. Emily Brown is selling is selling 4. John Doe is selling 5. And Mike Johnson is dealing with product categories. How many product categories? 4, right? So Slicer is basically easy for you to look at. It's more of to drill through your data, right? I can even click and add even more slicers, right? Maybe add another slicer. Maybe a slicer for date. I want a slicer for date. Uh, yeah, so you can see dates that we have here. Yeah, you can see the dates that we have. So if you click this date, you will see that electronics was sold on date number 1. And the person who sold electronics was Jen Smith on January 2nd. If I go to January 4th, I can see that it is Emily Brown who sold a product category of appliances, right? So basically that is it now. Why a slicer is important. Yeah. So you can also select, if you click this, then it means you can select multiple slicers. So between third and fifth, three people did the selling, and that is Emily Brown, John Doe, Mike Johnson, and the rest. I mean, Jen Smith did not sell, right? Yeah, I believe that is to the end of what we are supposed to be doing today, which was talking about pivot tables and pivot charts. But this is an intro to it, to a real introduction to pivot charts and pivot tables. Any question? I was also doing for you comparison with slicers even in something like Power BI. And let me see a slicer, it is refreshing. Um, yeah, so you can see even here a slicer for year 2018, 2019. So if I click 2020, uh, you can see the data is updating so that it is showing only information for 2020. That is what it's trying to do. These things are built from scratch. You even have a slicer here for where did you buy this product? Did you buy it at Great Buy, Other, Pet Farms, Rainforest, Wago Trial, Wago.com, or Walmarket, right? So that is also just another one. So 2020 information are presented there. If you click on 2019, it will update again. It will refresh. But what I'm saying is slicers are important to have even when doing your analytics. You can see it as updated. Where did you buy this product? Maybe I bought it from, let me say, Walmart, and see information from Walmart. Yeah, you can see it as updated, and now we have all those things. So in that case, in that similar way, we also have slicers in Excel. So as part of building your report, you can be having them. Maybe you place slicers there, slicers zikuwe hapo karibu, and then now there are charts that you have developed. You can move them around. There are tables that you are having, right? This one you cannot move them. There are tables that you are having are there, and then there are descriptions that you've given. There are descriptions that you have given with your data that you're having. Like we inserted the text box, and then we inserted maybe a normal chart, and so the comparison. And that's it. Martin, your hand is up. We are concluding. Where do I find the slicer? Yeah, the slicer, you just find it in insert and then in slicer here. That should be answered. Any other question? Bethwell is anybody who feels happy about pivot tables and charts? Thumbs up. Uh-huh. Yeah, those are 4 people. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 9 out of 26. So that ratio is poor. Let me see somebody who has not 10. Uh-huh. Okay, somebody's having a question. Mutai Martin. Okay. Mutai Martin, if you're speaking, you're on mute. I'm a Martin Chepsos. If not, if there's no any question, let me see. I'll share more information on how did you make your Power BI appear like that. Alvin, nione nyuma ya tent. Yeah. Um, I'm, I'm, I'm seeing. Let me see, Winnie. How are you doing with the pivot charts? Okay, that's a good recommendation. Somebody is asking, do we install Power BI? No, no, no. Power BI was just a branch for us to see Power Query chart in action and just to see comparisons, what we are doing in Excel and what is there. For example, just drifted a little bit to show you what uh, Slicer is in Power BI. So don't worry about Power BI, but it's a good tool to learn. The last ICDL, David Kabute, you are on mute.
I'm okay as far as the pivot tables are concerned.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll share more information again for this. So kindly go and have a look at them. We've just done a basic intro to Power BI charts, right? I share some. You go through it. Tomorrow we conclude on that and do something else tomorrow. We've not revised. I'll share the marking scheme today that was used for that for the Nini that you gave out.
Let's reply on the slides.
Sorry.
I wanted to add a second slicer,
Uh-huh.
but it is bringing some dialogue.
Just click on. So this is the table. So first click on maybe. This one is jumping. But what I mean is first click on maybe anywhere within a Power BI table, right? So for example, the table that we created here, you can just click inside it and then go to, if you click outside and click on insert slicer, I believe this is what you are finding. Right, Martin? That is because you clicked outside. Can you click inside this one and then go to a slicer, and then it will understand that you got this information from a certain table, right? And that table which contains maybe all this information. So if you want to create another slicer, maybe a slicer for category, yeah, maybe even an example like category. I mean, this one is just creating for the sake of you seeing what is happening. So you can see here. So this one is grayed out because we have selected just these dates. So we can unselect all of them. And then you can click this to unselect, yeah, so that it becomes all. So if you want to see a slicer for accessories, you can see accessories sold by all, and then it was sold mostly on date 19th of January, 25th of January, 30th, 1st, and 3rd, right? There is no any other date that it was sold, right? If you go to maybe appliances, you can see that it was sold January 4th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 16th, 17th, up to February 2nd. But the sales representative, all of them sold appliances. Fitness was not sold by Emily or Mike Johnson, but it was sold only on 2 dates. So these are part of the things that you can do and write more report with this, right? Cool. Are we good? Yeah, Rabban Muril. Thank you. Yeah, so I believe we can end it there, and it's